Broadcast live.
Hey, yo.
Yo. You guys?
You know.
100%, my brother.
200%,
Oh, man.
200%.
Yeah.
We got the hash, the big hash.
Yes,
the big
sir.
hash. What's up?
Mr.
Hash.
Slikour.
You good?
100%.
There's some fancy pants, man.
Ivy Park, sir. Ivy Park.
Fancy pants.
Thank you. Appreciate that, man.
When we were talk the first time, you were just starting. You weren't even, brands weren't talking to you, like you weren't coming in colorful like this. You came with what you got from your wardrobe, from your moms, you know?
Yeah. But didn't we link up like an interview after, like, to break down Young? We did, yeah?
Man, I'm old, man.
Because I remember all my Slikour interviews. Like, there's nothing that I wouldn't forget. Like, those are my favorite interviews.
Yeah.
You know, off by heart.
Alright, shout out, B. Shout out. Firstly, thanks for coming through.
Thank you for having me, dude.
I never knew you're an Aries. Maybe that's why we connected from off jump.
Yeah, I think strong personalities.
Yeah.
Is my mic fine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, I was saying I never knew you were an Aries. You know, it's like maybe that's why we connected, because
it's
pretty much
it's a personality thing.
Yeah, because I'm an Aries too. You know, 13th of April.
I think we talked about it on the phone. Yeah.
Yeah. How's
and I said, I said I was gonna give you merch, right?
Yeah. Did you?
Hold up. Do we have the jackets, dude? Oh. You got a shirt, right? Alright, cool. Okay, now we'll do it at the end of the interview.
Yeah, we'll do it at the end.
I got something.
Alright. Well, congratulations on the reception for the album.
Man.
I mean, do you call it an album?
It's a mixtape, bro.
Yeah,
but everybody else sees it as an album. Like, on the charts, it has to be counted as an album. But to me, it's a mixtape. It's like a teaser to the actual album. Yeah.
So where are we? You know, these polarizing spaces of rapping and singing. Which one is it? Like, which one is it? I mean, I know you opened with the raps, you closed with the singing.
Yeah.
Where do you stand? Where do you think you're the strongest? Then you can ask me what I think also.
Man, cause look, now, to be honest with you, I think me rapping is one conversation, and then me singing, I'm actually having fun with it. You know, like I say, rap is more of a sport than it is, you know, an activity where you could just express yourself. You know, like it comes natural with both parts if you're able to do them. But like, I honestly feel like my pen, like when I'm doing the melodic rap, so it's like both, you know, like I feel like that's my strong suit.
Yeah.
So, but what do you think? Honestly, I don't know, man.
I mean, you just put the bars on a very high level when this mixtape EP started.
And you didn't tell me what you thought about that, man.
I was firstly, because I just got off the plane, obviously, and we were all in our situations.
I feel that.
You were just launching your album. We were all going through something. You know what I mean? When I saw you that day, but I felt like, but let me get into the album and I'll give you my holistic view.
Okay.
I felt like when I listened, you just raised the bar of a rapper just so high. Like I won't lie. I mean, I just had my notes here.
Bro, what?
You know, and still breathing.
Me? Nah.
I wrote the rhymes. You know, it was always dancing
with the devil. Never got to go prom.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. No, don't do that, man.
Oh my gosh. You know, they're gonna tell you the grass is green on the other side till they tell you as to mow the lawn. Come on.
Yo, this is insane. Like,
come on. Look. I'm losing niggas that love you because they love money more.
Yeah, losing niggas that you love because they love money more is painful.
Start smoking trees, only way to tolerate the shade.
Yeah.
Come on.
Man, that's a huge compliment coming from you, dog.
Come on.
Hey, that's a huge
Come on. You threw those lines like they're not important.
Nah, bro. Nah. That's insane for me to hear, because like you came to the session and I didn't hear none of that. So when I'm hearing it, I'm like, oh snap! Like,
Well, I mean, look, you were going through your launch. I couldn't get in.
yeah,
Yo, for me, like, I was like, it was hard for me to take in the singing because I just think that you just put me into rap mode so much, beast mode so much.
I get that.
The bars were not like primary school bars. You were just like,
That's hard, bro.
do you know what I mean?
That's hard.
So
Yeah,
you're on
shout
beast
out.
mode. So by the time I was getting into the singing, I was just on some.
I get that, but nah, that's really hard, bro. Coming from you,
Yo,
that's
no,
hard.
man. I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
Yo.
Tell me, man. I mean, like when you did come out, obviously you were like the the most promising kind of prospect, like the next kid hot on the block, generation of the J Molleys. You know, I mean, Frank just had his wave. He just came through. You were like the next up. You know, obviously
Yeah.
under I would say the Ricky wing. You know,
Yeah.
did you ever have any pressures, and what did you kind of experience in that journey that you were like, I'ma pause this, I'ma move this? How were you rationalizing with regards to your career while you were going through all that at the time?
Man, like, I'm not gonna lie to you, like, I was really winging life, hey, like, everything was just coming to my doorstep, you feel me? And when that thing happens, like, you have this mentality that, like, you know, anything is given, anything, like, you start becoming entitled, right? So it's like, for me, I had to, like, as much as I wanted to continue living that life, there was a part of me that I was losing, and, like, you know, things set me back. Like, I think life calmed me down, you know, like everything that unfolded. Like, I'm sure you heard about the whole label thing, like, you know, me choosing to go out on my own. And there's so much pressure because, like, when everything is happening so fast and then, like, literally everything slows down, like, it's like the worst feeling in the world, man. But, like, you know, just being a part of that scene where so many artists were coming out, so many artists were booming, and they had their waves, and, like, I was like, man, like, I don't want to be called a wave. I think I want to have a decade, you know? That a decade is not a wave, you know? And it's the hardest thing in the world when you're dealing with such a fickle audience and everyone is, like, you know, moving on to the next big thing. If you're not giving them what they want, like, they're gonna move on. And thing is, like, you know, it was never up to me, you know? So just having so much pressure on my shoulders, it really taught me a lot about having the time for yourself, man, and really learning to reassess who you are as a person more than who you are as an artist. Because sometimes, as much as they become like one thing, you always got to learn how to separate them. Because I know there's Slikour and then there's Siya, the family man, you know, like, and you know, at some point, like, you were the whole thing, and you know, you get lost in it, you know. So yeah, man, it's a lot of pressure, but now we're learning to deal with it. Everything is happening over time, and it's happening the right way, you know. It's called divine timing, obviously. So.
Yeah. And just to call the album like the star sign.
Yeah.
Why was that appropriate, just to put the star sign up front?
Well, initially, like, I named it the star sign because that was the season it was supposed to drop. Right?
Yeah.
And man, like, because as much as, like, people may disagree, like, I am a huge believer in star signs, right? Because, like, there's so much about my star sign that's taught me where I've always gone wrong, you know? And, like, yeah, like, I'm not trying to convince anybody, like, I'm on some chakra shit or whatever, like, but, like, you know, me being hot-headed, you know, me being so confident and brave about what I want to do with my life, making these decisions, irrational decisions, as much as they may pay off in the future or not, I still make them regardless, because that's who I am as a person. And, like, the more I had time to cook this project, like, in terms of me not being able to make the date I was supposed to drop, because obviously the whole label thing, like, and I'm sure you'll get to that. So
We're gonna get to that, yeah. We're gonna get to that, yeah.
But just being sidetracked, it helped me build a picture of myself that was so clearer, because I could have changed the project, nah, to another title, but like it made so much sense how an Aries, when they love hard, nah. When they're mad, they're really mad. Like when they're really passionate about something, they're really passionate. Like those three emotions, like it defined the project for me on either side, whether it was rap or R&B, you know. Like that's what made me like stick to the name, because I was like, damn, like this really makes sense now it makes sense,
Yeah.
you know.
Do you think that like in the journey that you've had, there have been times where your passion, you've been taken advantage because of your passion?
Oh hell yeah.
You've revealed too much.
Oh hell yeah.
You said too much. You gave too much, where people kind of use that against you, or they kind of use that to make you feel like, okay, we'll play that card, because
Yeah.
we know that's where his little soft spot is.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like I feel like my previous label was taking advantage of my passion, because they know I'd always put my audience first. They'd know I'd always put the music first. They'd know, like, you know, even if I was down to my last dime, like this is the shit that I always wanted to do. So like for me, it just it sort of woke me up, you know, to the business side of things. Like, you know, you gotta handle your shit a certain way. You gotta learn to move, you know, a certain way. If you're gonna protect yourself and protect your energy and protect your intellectual property, you know, that's the most important part, because like that's where the passion is, the intellectual property.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, the passion creates the intellectual property, right?
Mm.
I mean, you open your intro lean, and you talk about if there's no check, cats don't check for you. So for more, but doing it like the first time, having to put a glacier where my heart is. I mean, come on, man. You already like going in there just saying things like that. You know, if someone had to sum up your intro, what message were you just trying to deliver just by just already saying those things? It's about betrayal, and it's about boundaries.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the double B, betrayal and boundaries. That's a big thing about this industry. Betrayal, boundaries lessen betrayal, but betrayal even always exists, even if you've got boundaries.
There's no two ways about it, dude. Like anybody could betray you from any angle, at any side. It could be the ones that you love or the ones that you hate, but regardless, it still hurts. It still hurts, you know. And like for me, when I was creating that intro, the crazy part is that like there's like 5 different versions of that intro, all like with different bars, all rewritten. And I was writing it at a time where like I couldn't do anything with my life, you know. Like I was already exiting the label, but like it just, life set in the worst way possible. It set in like to the point where when I heard this shit, like for myself, like all the truths that were, you know, being hidden behind closed doors, like it really fueled me to tell my story, because like I was so stuck on how to explain certain things, and I feel like I didn't do enough when I was doing the intro. But I was like, you know what, it's fine, I'll catch him another song, you know. Which was Still Breathing. But like just conveying my story and telling people as vaguely as possible, like, you know. But yeah, like that's what inspired me, man.
So, because we're dancing around this issue, right? I always wanna, whenever there's a fallout, you know, of any type, you know, I'm always like, but how does the relationship start? You know, because people always get the end part, you know, but they never get how the relationship starts, you know. And maybe for me, that's where I'd like you to start. How did your relationship start? And who is the label? You know, because there's always this anonymous like label. There's this you know, the label doesn't have a label. You know, it's like,
but we've like a lot of us, like even you, like I think you've met with them before. Innanetwav,
okay,
right? So essentially, like I was still, I was still in high school when I started speaking to the head producer there, 808X. So I was doing my thing, and I didn't have that many resources to get the shit together. Like if I'm keeping it a buck with you, like I couldn't afford anything. Like actually, the guy that I came with here, he paid for my first studio session 5 years ago. So like he was out there in the UK, so couldn't move, couldn't do a thing. And eventually I got sick of school, and because it's not that like I got sick of learning, it's like my passion for it wasn't there, and it lied in something else, and I wanted to explore it. And this guy ate, um he had reached out to me after hearing a project that I did called Evo, and he liked the project and said, nah, you know what, nah, this guy has a lot of potential. It's just a matter of shaping him up, because like I was still recording with no auto tune, and the mixing was trash. But like when you hear talent, it's then like, okay, now we could do something. So yeah, that's what happened. And after I dropped out, like I made a decision. I said, okay, like he's the first dude I need to work with, because I had heard his shit before, like including the stuff that he mixed, produced, all of that stuff. So I was like, dude, like this is perfect, like so yeah, man, we got together. Our first session, we made a song called 8578, and it happened to be like one of those SoundCloud era songs that like helped define who the Big Hash is. And we had a continuous working relationship, and we ended up, before you know it, building to a project called the Big Hash Theory. That was the first project that I put out outside of high school. And like from there, it became like a brotherhood, because when you're doing something for your brother, and like you guys are doing something from each other, you guys are both at the bottom and you're slowly making your way up the ranks, like it becomes a brotherhood, because it's just like I'm changing your life, you changing mine, so it's symbiotic. And it came to a point where they're like, okay, dude, listen, I think let's make this thing official. You sign with our label, and we see where we take it from there. So I signed a 1 year deal with them, and during that 1 year, that's when everything just went. Even during that contract, I ended up doing an interview with you, the first interview. Like everything was crazy. And like to that degree, like I could say the rest is history, but the story kept developing. But yeah, that's how it started.
So I mean, then how do you get to a point where you gotta leave? It's brotherhood. I mean, you trust the guys, good faith, obviously.
Yeah.
They know where you come from.
Yeah.
So where do you get to a point where you start feeling like, yeah, I'm not being done right? To a point where you are communicating it all the time, right?
Okay.
That like the label, that you keep raising it up.
Yeah.
So where do you get to that point where you actually start talking about this person that's like brother, where it should be kept inside, right?
Yeah.
So where does that start happening?
It's easy for you guys to on the come up now, like split 100 rand, nah. When you have to split 100 grand, it's a different chance, right? Like it's easy for you to be like, here's $100, manager fee 20 rand, there you go, easy. It's easy for you to do that. But it's another situation when there's so much more money involved. So now it gets to the interesting part. So after we did the interview, like Young was going crazy at the time. Young was going super crazy, and like there were certain things, like like I think from the both of us, from both our ends, this has nothing to do with 8 now. This has everything to do with the people that are running independently. So there's 3 people, right? So it's there's 8, which would be the head producer, then there's the graphic designer, and then there's the management / lawyer, and admin of the company. So these 2, like, and they're all directors, mind you, they have equal power, but these two chose to be in their own departments, right? And this guy is now the guy that I have to deal with.
Which is this guy?
The management lawyer guy.
Yeah.
He's the guy that I have to deal with, right? So like when everything started unfolding was when contracts were being signed and I wasn't notified up until I got to shoots. Like, oh yeah, by the way, the contract was signed, but I hadn't even looked at it. Like, what are you talking about? Like, at that point, you don't even have my attorney of power anymore. I'm over 18.
Yeah.
Like, over. Like, I'm 19 at that point. Nah? So it's like, okay, fine, I trust you. You're my brother, but that's wrong. Shouldn't do that. Okay, fine. Then there's lack of communication now. Like, communication starts fading away slowly, and it became a difficult situation because now I end up being late for interviews. I end up being late for meetings. I end up being late for opportunities, and I can never get a hold of my manager. Like, for instance, there's this one example that I'll say. Like, literally, I had an interview at YFM, and mind you, I live in Pretoria, right? YFM is in Dunkeld, right? So now I'm struggling to get a hold of my manager because he's supposed to organize everything, you know? Me getting there, me getting back, you know, safely. So I'm struggling to get a hold of him, and at that point, I have to blow my own money to go there, and I'm panicking now because I'm late, I'm in traffic. Like, I'm on, people there at the station are mad at me, only to find out that Kiyomoto, he just like, oh, sorry, by the way, brother, I was in Mpumalanga, or I was like, bro, like, what? Like, you know, like, it's certain things like that, like, where I was like, okay, fine, you know what, now, you're still my brother, I love you, but you're not handling the business right? So it's like, okay, fine, I tried to introduce a new manager, right? I tried to get my own management because, like, at that point, like, everything is serious. This guy is running an entire label with an entire roster, man. But I, the person who's actually, you know, having his shine at that point, like, I feel like I'm not being made a priority, and that's and it's okay to some people, but it's not okay to me, you know, because I want to take my career seriously. I want to be able to get to my interviews on time. I want to be able to get to radio stations and do submissions and all of that stuff, like, and not answering emails, you know, like that kind of bored me. So I was like, okay, you know what, now I tried to introduce a manager, then they denied the request. Nah. At first they were with it, then they weren't with it. Nah. And like, that's when it's like, fine. I stayed around because I still had personal relationships with people, right? At that label. Like, I still had personal relationships. So it's like, it kind of hurt to know that, you know, a person can still like be friends with a person, but like not be able to cut ties with them, or at least, you know, find a way to separate themselves for the betterment of their career without involving the friendship, you know? Because at that point, like, I was still brothers with this person, right? So it's kind of like a conflicting situation. And then it got to a point where, like, now my releases aren't being handled right. There's no PR, there's no music videos. Like, can I tell you, the last music video that I did with that label, I paid for it. I took money out of my pocket to do so. What you call it? There's also situations where, you know, I've had to make it on my own to shows, right? Like, and when it gets to that point where now even your music releases aren't being handled right, where you submit the wrong version of the song. They submitted the wrong version of my song with Questa, even though we've made like alterations and everything. And you know what they told me? We can't swap it out because of algorithm. So it's just like, what? It don't even make sense like that, bro. Because you, like, you know, you can do it. They were just very lazy, and I was just like, you know what? Now I am going to suffer here if I don't move. And imagine, I'm dealing with little things compared to the big picture stuff that's happening that I didn't know about. So I'm leaving over small picture stuff because I was getting frustrated with how my career was being handled by management. It had nothing to do with everybody else. It had everything to do with management, right? And now, with my foot out the door, I say, yo, listen, I'll even offer to buy myself out. I will do so. I don't know how long it's going to take me, but I will make sure, you know, I'll give you all the money. It's fine. I need to go. This does not work for me. So fine. They were willing to play ball at first, nah? And then they started delaying the process. So I'm like, yo, why is everything being complicated? And it didn't make sense to me up until one day I went to, they called me, and I had been asking all year, what's happening with the status of my Adidas contract, right? Because it expired at the end of December 2019, right? So I was like, okay, fine. What are they saying now? Because they said that they wanted to renew the contract. And this was during the pandemic, mind you. And I was told, no, it's the pandemic. Businesses are going through it. Everything is, it's going under. But I'm sure that they'll negotiate at some point. So I was like, okay, fine. No problem. This was April, mind you. So now, September, I have a shoot with Adidas.
September 2020?
September 2020.
Okay.
Right? Fast forward. September 2020, right? I have a shoot with Adidas now. And they tell me, okay, now we need you to do this. We need you to do this. We need you to come through now. And this is management telling me that they need me to come. Right? So I was like, okay, fine. No problem. I'll do so. So I ended up making my way there. It was a 2-day shoot. Everything was we were ignoring the elephant in the room, hey, we don't rock with each other no more. We're not supposed to, but we stayed together because I wanted to keep my relationship good with Adidas, and we had a good relationship with them already. So it's just okay, for the sake of Adidas, we're doing this, right? Even though at that time I knew I wasn't getting paid, right? Because we were still negotiating a way around the contract. So it's all right, cool, no problem. Nah? And then the second day comes, nah? Everything is much calmer, it's less tense. And we're laughing just like old times, even though we're ignoring the elephant in the room, right? So this nigga, he says, I'm going to the garage, I'm going to get some stuff, I'm coming back. So he goes. The guy that I was dealing with the whole time, a director at Adidas, right? I've been dealing with this man my whole career. Shout out to him. He pulls me to the side and let's have a chat. Okay. We go outside, and at that time I cleared my Instagram feed because I wanted to rebrand, because I already knew that I was leaving the label, and I wanted to come back with music, when everything was set in stone. I was gonna have, everything set up. So fine. He pulls me to the side and says, yo, why did you clear your feed? I explained to him. It's like, oh, good, no problem. Then he breaks down the whole year to me. And he's like, yeah, we've been so thankful to work with you the entire year. I'm like, what do you mean? The entire year? And then he starts talking about us doing business. And I'm just like, yo, when did we start doing business? What are you talking about? And then it clicked. It clicked when he said, I'll send you the contract. I was like, what contract are you talking about, bro?
So who, the guy from Adidas?
Yeah.
Oh,
so shit. I'm like, yo, what contract are you talking about? So I'll send it to you. And
is it meaning that I've sent you the contract you guys have signed? In a way, yeah.
So now, this guy gets back from the garage. I'm playing stupid. I don't know what's going on. Meanwhile, in the back of my head, I'm like, this. So, fine. The night ends. I go home. Monday comes. We get the contract. My days, bro. There's this huge ass 6-figure deal that was signed. Mans is getting paid every month of the pandemic. Every month. And I was wondering, I'm like, yo, like this don't make no sense. I'm seeing everybody from my team get new clothes all the time from Adidas. And like I don't get called. I don't get hit up about nothing. Like I'm seeing all this like unfold in front of my own eyes. I'm seeing my producer wearing new kicks and all of that stuff. Like, yo, he all dripped out and shit. I'm like, yo, what's going on?
And
like,
no one is saying, yo,
quiet.
thanks for starting.
Yo, bro. Like, and on top of that, like, it clicked because like dudes were getting new cars, dudes were getting new apartments. I'm like, bro, like TVs and shit. Like, I'm like, yo, what? Like, so when I heard this, I lost my fucking mind. I was like, yo, you serious right now? Like, and when we saw that contract, bro, like it blew my mind because it was signed the very same time that I did my last campaign with them in December when they said it expired and we wanted to renew with them. They renewed at the very end of that campaign. That day when they said that they wanted to renew, they renewed it. They didn't tell me that it was renewed. And they were getting paid every fucking month. You feel me? So it was mind-boggling to me. And yeah, like, you know, also during the pandemic, like, because I didn't have my own home studio. Like, I was always going out to the studio and recording and get my stuff done there. Like, I was like, yo, I actually haven't seen my royalties. Let me buy a studio with my royalties, you know? Because I didn't touch any of my music money, you know, as far as I know, you know? Mm-hmm. So I was like, fine, let me touch my, you know, let me look in there, see what's up. And they sent me so I called them actually, and I said, yo, look, I need to get an equipment set up here. So I need this thingy, this amount and this amount and this amount for my royalties. And they said, okay, how much is the equipment? I said, it's gonna cost me 40 bands. And like this guy, like they say, no, 40,000 rand. Like, what are you talking about? But like, nah, like it can't be that expensive. Now we need to. And I'm like, yo, but it's my money though. Like, what are you telling me right now? Like, like, how are you gonna tell me about my money? And it didn't click, you know, it didn't click that stuff was happening. So they sent an unmarked 24,000 to my account. Like at some point. It was just sent. They didn't even say anything. They didn't say like, yo, no, look, bro, I sent this. It was unmarked. So later on, when that chat happened, like with the Adidas thing, it makes sense because I was like, oh, that was Adidas money I was getting paid.
You got your 24,000.
Oh, like, bro, like that was Adidas money I was getting paid. So like, yeah, it was little things like that, and like, you know, we still unearthed a lot more, you know, in terms of how everything went down. But like, man, I'm sorry for rambling, but hey, like, it's a big story.
That's crazy. You know, I mean, I guess the money really moved you, you know, I mean, the money really like created the urgency when you saw the Adidas situation.
Yeah, it did, definitely. Because I'm like, damn, how much money am I really making though? You ask yourself that.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, the way I see it also is that I'm always wondering how many artists are actually going through this. With brothers, with managers they call their brothers, because this is the problem with the whole game though, where I were like a lot of people literally like are working with their brothers.
Yeah.
And it's one thing for your brother to not know the game, but it's another thing for your brother to get the money. But like he doesn't know that, like, okay, yo, I gotta break some bread there. I understand if your brother doesn't know the game entirely, but he must know how to break bread.
He's a fucking lawyer. There's no way he does not know the game. This man, like, literally, like he had to do music law to know what he was doing. So that's where we at, man.
So this is the reason why you've been MIA.
Hell yeah, bro. Hell yeah. Like, you know, just like me coming out of that situation, we ended up getting the contract terminated, you know, because there were so many breaches on their end that they still couldn't clear up. So I was like, okay, fine. Then I came through with a new song at the beginning of the year called Peace of Mind. Like, that was like my first independent release, you know? And it was supposed to set a statement, and in the short time frame that it was up, I honestly personally do believe it did, right? um it's just like the problem came when they took my shit down because they're so delusional about me being like still in that contract even though we got it terminated, because like they couldn't clear up the breaches in time, and to this day they still haven't, but they're so delusional, and they believe that a cancellation in a contract requires both parties to agree.
Mm.
you know
When they breached up.
yeah, when they've breached like the biggest part. So they took the song down, and my management, my new management, had a fear that they were still entitled to taking the songs down because we couldn't provide the proof that we have the copyright to the intellectual property. So it was kind of a really big situation because that's what slowed down everything. Like me releasing videos, me releasing songs, me releasing projects, me releasing anything, me being an artist full stop. It put a pause on that. And the whole year I lost myself, but I also lost myself in the music, So yeah.
I mean, you have a star-studded lineup on the album, and Heavy's the Crown. You got Blackie, Count My Blessings, you got Flame. How do you choose? I mean, you kind of come out of this space that's been a tough patch. Now you got to get back in your creativity. Did this like make you just dig deeper into the creativity and curating who you get on the songs? Like, how did you make all those decisions?
It's crazy because like when I was making songs like the intro, like there was nobody in the game fucking with me. Like I'm not gonna lie to you, like very far and few people, and I get that. So it's like
Fucking with you in a sense of having a relationship,
having a so-called friendship or an understanding of each other's craft.
That's what I felt, because to me you do seem like a bit of a complex person.
I'm very simple, but I also do hate human beings. Like, no, don't get it twisted. Like, I don't hate humanity. I don't like being around people because I'm more in my own space. Like, I just, I'm very comfortable around who I know and who I feel is, the right person to be around for my energy. Like, if my energy's off in one place, like, you'll feel it, dog. Like, but I am generally a happy person. I wouldn't say outgoing, but I am the life of the party when I step into a room. But yeah, like in terms of the relationships that I had built, like very far and few, like I can say, I had a rapport with Youngster, and out of like any artist that I've worked with in the game, I've collaborated the most with Flame. Like I think we have like 7 joints we've done together, like, and that's something that like you're like, oh shit, like,
yeah, it's great.
you don't even notice like you've made that many songs with a guy, but like in terms of picking, the features, like Flame was definitely an obvious because we had such a good relationship, and we always made great music together, or that's what I believe in my personal opinion, and then there's Youngster, who I developed a rapport with through hip-hop, SA Hip-Hop Awards, man. Like, like that's where dude was showing love, and then Cotton Fest, we talked some more just before the pandemic, and he had already done a verse for me for the remix for RIP on the Young project, which had never come out. So that ended up being like a verse that he did like for his new album, on a song called Hometown Advantage with me. So that one was a given in terms of us working together some more, because I wanted to use that verse because I had the stems, and he's like, nah, but I'll do your new verse, but I don't know how to, so that was pretty sick. And then Blackie, we were rocking with each other, and then we ended up on the same song, Major Steez Slime. Shout out to Major Steez, man. And then like, it was like, man, like, I gotta send you some demos, man. So, I sent him Heavy as the Crown, and like he went insane over it during a live. So I was like, man, like I thought he wasn't rocking with the song like that, but now he's like, you know. Then there was Ayanda Gia, God bless her soul. Wow, amazing human being, man. Ayanda, she sent me a record that I sat on for like 7-8 months, like with the beat and everything done, you know. And like she thought like, you know, I didn't fuck with it either. Like I just like, yo, how could I say what I want to say, you know? Like I gotta find a way to say it. But yeah, like beautiful record. It's called Let Me Know. And like it was a given to have her on the project because I've always been such a huge fan of her. And there was Rolene. Rolene was more of a last minute thing, you know. Rolene hit me up wanting a verse for one of her songs. So I was like, hey, let's do, you know, verse for verse, you know, for me, like, so it was like, yeah, cool, no problem. And I got that. And then there was Davion. That's the interesting one. So Davion, I'm not sure if you know her, but she is an international artist from America. And she was actually on the last Revenge of the Dreamers album. She was on a song called Sleep Deprived. And like I heard her, like I was like, who is this? You know, like she has such a very powerful voice, and it's like water, bro. It's like water. Like it's like you can't teach that. So Flame put me on. He's like, yeah, nah, I'm gonna get you linked up, you know. And you know, it was an Instagram thing, and God bless her, she sent me a verse. Amazing artist. But yeah, like but most niggas weren't fucking with me like that, man. You know?
That's crazy. I talked about karma, you know. I got selfish scores to settle. I want to forgive a soul. I mean, after hearing this, you know, I'm like, okay, my question was gonna be like, what else needs to be settled? But like, it's cool. I think I see where you at. You know,
bro.
You ain't chasing Jezebels, chasing Mills. You know?
Mills, bro. Mills, 100%, bro. Like, I think having nothing teaches you to never go back to nothing. And for me, like, it's like so many people tried to take this dream away from me, and I said, nah, fuck it, I'm coming back for y'all. Like, y'all slept on me, y'all disrespected me, y'all ruined everything that had to do with my dream. So my middle name is Karma, and I'm coming straight for your head.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Let Me Know, Lost Times, you know, Do You Love Me? And I just asked myself, you've also like you also come across like you really take it personal when girls break your heart.
Who does it? Like, who does it? Like, yo, like, let's be real.
You really become a mess.
Like, yo, like, the worst part about it is that, like, you know when a girl breaks you, and, like, you know you're broken. Like, you know when some people, like, when they physically fall, like on the floor or something, and they don't notice, like they crack something due to like adrenaline or some shit like that. Like heartbreak is different. Like when you crash, like you know you crashed. Ooh.
It's like you've crashed, you know. I mean, it's like I wonder being Big Hash in the industry, and being Big Hash, but like. But it doesn't change the fact that you're going to have a broken heart, right? What are the lessons rather in love that you've kind of taken also, and things that you maybe I shouldn't do that again, or maybe I shouldn't take? What are the lessons? What are the love lessons that Big Hash has learned?
Never, ever fuck with the hand who's got a blue tick. Never. Like never. Like yo, blue tick hands. Ah no. No, dog. You see that verification thing?
No.
Never go there. Nah, I think the reason why I say that is because you'll understand that the way you operate is the way that they operate, which is worse because like you're looking for, as a guy, you're looking for a two-way street, but you're operating one way, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So now imagine two people are in the streets, but they're both operating one other way than the other. Like it's, you know, but like communication, obviously, just learning, that to be with somebody, you gotta have a conversation with somebody rather than just brushing everything under the carpet when it happens. Like you gotta learn to face reality when it hits you.
Yeah.
Like I think that's the biggest lesson, and also like never settling for less, bro. Never settling for less. Like as much as you may see yourself as a mess in the mirror, like you always gotta remember that you're the one person that sees you this way, and you're also gonna be the one person left when everyone is gone. So you gotta, like, you know how they say on Twitter, like when someone gets their heart broken or like, oh, she cheated on me, and they tell you focus on you, king. Like focus on you, king. Like no, that's real. In the worst and best way.
Each other focus on you.
Focus on you, king. Like,
get that back.
Yeah, bro. Nah, that's real. That's real.
Get the meals, not the Jezebels.
Yeah, that's the realest shit that a person could tell you, though. Focus on you, king. Like it won't hit you until it hits you.
Yeah. So the advice is, don't get them blue tickets.
B. Like Nav said in a song. I think, what was it? It was a song called Champions. He says, if she got 100K followers, she too famous. If she got 1,000, I may come my main bitch. That's that. Like you gotta learn to have somebody who's private, low key. A person who will support you but also not get in your way. Like and
you'll support them,
and it's a two-way street.
I support you to get more than 1,000 followers.
You could do that.
Just like I'm gonna support you
could do
not
that.
to grow your body.
No, like someone who who knows what real life is.
Yeah. We got a couple of questions also from the streets and on our page, and the question was, what are the hardships of being independent?
I'll tell you now, like the biggest thing that I learned about being independent, you gotta be resourceful, and that's a very hard thing to do, especially when you're not friends with people. And I learned that the hard way, but I mean, it's cool. We getting back on our feet. Like, everything is going great right now, as great as it should be. Only because, I learned a hard lesson in being resourceful, like right now, like in this very moment. And also the hardest thing is, keeping yourself in the public eye without being involved in a drama. Like for a person in a record label, it's easy. Like any PR is good PR, but for an independent artist, like, bro, like to out of sight, out of mind is a real thing. So when you're in everyone's peripheral, the hardest part is making sure that they see you with the good eye.
You're so wise.
Like, yo, hey, look, man, like time teaches you things, man. Yeah. Like, and I've been through the motions. I've seen it all. I've done it all.
You've seen enough for you to know.
Yeah. There's still more that I gotta do. Thanks for rephrasing that.
Yeah.
But like, just at this age and having this much experience with what I've gone through and everything that I've seen, like it's important for you to also know finance, bro. Like finance, like if you can't be resourceful, at least know finance. you know, like I'm one or the other. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like, hey, like, you know, the money thing, like, but like I'm keeping my eye on my money now. Nah, I don't get that twisted. Never get that twisted. Like I got my eye on the money, but I also, like gotta find a way to be, you know, creative with the budget that I'm given. You know, because it may not be the biggest thing, but like,
Can I give you some
definitely,
information?
yeah.
And because we fellow Aries, from one Aries to the other,
Just that.
you know, I also don't have any friends in the industry.
Mm.
You know, and the only way that I've survived is by always doing what's true to me, and believing that doing what's true to me will attract what needs to attract.
I believe that.
So instead of me trying to make friends, I become a bridge for people who need to cross. So you know, some of them walk nicely over the bridge. Some of them walk with their high heels and like, you know. So put yourself as a bridge, you know, and never take anything personal. So I've learned that
it's hard in this business not to.
Yeah, I know. I've learned that like you can realize you don't have the social gene in you. I don't.
I don't either.
Yeah.
No.
But I've got I'm a resource though to many people through my thinking and through my actions. So don't ever box yourself in the rap shit. Just always think broader. Don't be scared of your thoughts, because those thoughts are literally going to be what like pulls everyone else to kind of go, you could be the bridge. You might not. You see the guy from Adidas when he pulled you on the side? That wasn't a mistake.
No, definitely. It was divine timing.
That wasn't a mistake. And people like that will always, so you don't build friends. You build like, you get like these angels that protect you and that pull you out of situations. And then you only just have your mind to let go of the things you've attached that you thought, but I thought this is what it was. So you're just going to have the challenge in your mind. But you always going to get these angels that pull you from situations before they get to places where you cannot get out of them. That's what's always going to happen with you. But you always need to see that, and you got to let your mind be ready to detach quickly. To detach. Don't fall in love, or don't fall in love, or don't believe that everything that's happening around you, that's being brought to other people, is forever. You got to believe that what's forever is here, and you are the one that operates what this forever is going to look like up here. So you always going to have that power. You're going to operate what's going to be your forever up here. And it's going to keep evolving. Because when people don't need whatever you are giving them when they needed it, they're going to move. Because you are a resource. You are well. You're going to give out that. So don't only think that it's just going to be in the rapping. You know what I mean? So as a side note, as we sit here and with everything that's known about me that's been done, it's not been done because I had friends in the industry. No one wanted to help me. Till this day, no one is around me. No one is got my back and like, yo, we going like, you go. I could tell you.
Probably people outside the industry, never in the industry.
Even in the industry, I don't have friends. You know,
I wouldn't assume, obviously, in the industry.
I don't have friends.
No friends in the industry.
I don't have friends. Everyone in the industry is me seeing something great about them. Me putting my guard down to go, yo, Hash, you dope. It's me, literally. It's not me saying that I am friends with everyone that comes here. It's me putting my guard down, seeing a light in them, and saying, "I love your light. Can I be around it? And engage with it?" And that's my truth, because I'm a fan. I said that to you.
And I respect
right? That. You say, what happened to the song that you're supposed to do with Nasty C? Yo, the people want to know.
Oh shit, yeah. So essentially Nasty was supposed to do circles. Right? So
Circles.
He's like,
I think I heard him on Circles also.
Yeah,
I mean, I heard.
Yeah, like a verse, like in your head, like obviously, like, that's the first thing that I thought of, you know. So I was like, man, like I gotta have him on the re-up of Circles, and he agreed. So he was like, at some point, he's like, man, do you have something different for me? So I was like, yeah, of course. I mean, like, come on, like, what is design? Anything for you, you know? So I sent him there's a record that I had with Anati called Nyani, Anati and Boiti.
Yeah, that never came out.
Yeah, that never came out also. Yeah, you know, politics.
What are those politics?
Hey man, listen, all love, peace and respect, but go ask Anati that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So okay, cool.
Like, you know, men's just went off the grid. So, you know.
All right.
Yeah, if you can find him, ask him. But yeah, so Nasty was like, okay, since Boise's on it, give me another record. So I gave him a record called Fake Da Vinci. That I recorded. It was just like a demo. I recorded it in 2019, and he fucked with it. He's like, yo, this shit hard. So he did a verse, ended up not liking it. So I was like, okay, you know what? The time will come. You know, the time will come. Also, so I was like, okay, fine. I ended up getting Flame on Fake Da Vinci. That's one of the records that we ended up working on during the pandemic. Like I just released it because like it was just a hook and a verse, and that was it. It's like it needed to be completed. Like it was like, you know, a whole song type shit. So yeah, that's what happened, man. But it's all love between me and Nasty Dude. We ended up at least having a song, you know. It's right now reloaded. It's out now. That's Gemini's song. But it's the remix to Right Now with Teleman. But on this version, it was me, it was Gemini, it was Nasty, it was MT, it was AKA, and it was Teleman. Yeah.
Cool.
So that was dope.
Alright. So they asking the record label you assigned to did it task you to be with J Molley? How you guys doing? How are you and J Molley? How's things there with J Molley?
Nobody tossed me to beef with anyone, dog. That man just straight up became a bitch, bro. You know?
Okay.
Like, peep this, Like, I'm gonna say this in the most respectful way possible.
Well, not after you just said he became a bitch. But
look, I still think he's a bitch, bro. Anybody that could say my mom out of their mouth, bro, I consider you a bitch, bro.
Yeah.
You feel me? Because like that's outside of hip hop. I never mentioned anybody's parents or none of that shit, you know. And I'm not even talking about what he said in that record, bro. Like I'm talking about him being extra disrespectful on lives with his girl, like talking crazy about me, talking about Heartbreak Hotel's my mom's house, da 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 da. And the thing is, like, what people don't understand is that like I respect Jay as an artist, not as a human being anymore, but as an artist, because like I used to look up to Jay. Like Jay is like, bro, like when this new wave shit was happening, like I was like, man, that nigga Jay, he's really doing shit, like, you know, like, and it inspired me to be like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna take the wave a little more serious. Like I'm not gonna say like he's the sole like inspiration, because there's so many other inspirations. There was Aries, there was fucking Nasty, there was Frank, there was Patrick XX Lee, there was Letabo Acid, there was fucking man, like they're escaping my mind right now. But like for me, like I respected people, you know, like, and I respected their craft. And like for me, when it got to a certain point where now we're beefing over things that shouldn't be beefed over, like because for me now, like what people don't understand is that shit was sport. Like the whole rap beef, like that shit was sport. Like that's what I thought on both parts, right? Because on one end you have a guy who's trying to, you know, prove that he's more than just a certain type of artist. And then on my end, I have this thing of like, so people are taking me too lightly because I've been doing this R&B shit. So I need to, you know, to come out and be who I want to be, like, as, you know, as I told you, like, this is sport, bro. Like, you know, it's up, you know? And like, I honestly had fun throughout the whole process. But it felt like it was getting too personal at times, you know? Us having to make calls back and forth with people through people, because now this man is ignoring me. He's not, but then on Instagram and all of that crazy shit, like you sneak this in and all of that shit, like you tweeting about me on the side, talking crazy about me, like, like, and it's just like, bro, like, and at that time I was at the height of my record label issues, so there was no ways I was gonna respond, but at the same time it's like, okay, good, because I don't want to entertain this stuff. But he's driving it to a point where now people are sending me videos of him talking crazy about my family and shit, like talking about, oh, Heartbreak Hotel is his mom's bedroom, da 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 da. Like, what's like? I'm just like, yo, but is that any of like that shit necessary? Like, yo, for real? Like, because from what I got from our understanding was that rap was just rap. Let's not make it personal, and we explained it from both ends. Because this has nothing to do with labels. Like, there's no fucking ways. But it worked for the both of us in a way that we had exposure on hip hop as a whole. Because hip hop, it needed that. Like, it needed that. It's just like, oh, these young bloods beefing now. Okay, all right, now let's see what they can do,
Yeah.
And thing is, like, to this day, I respect Jay as an artist. I don't respect him as a human being, because I'd never go out of my way to say those things about another person, especially because I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. Having another person that you have problems with, but not their parents, and now they're bringing your parents into it, and it's just like, bro, but is any of that cool? Is any of that, like, in your head? Does that sit right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where we at, man. Fuck that nigga. Like, but as an artist, I respect you, but as a human being, he can go fuck himself.
Jeez, bro.
He can go fuck himself.
This nigga's retired or resigned right now. You need to check on him where he is. His mental state right now.
Look, I really know one thing that I do take seriously is mental health, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So wherever he is, I hope he does get better. I hope that he recuperates from whatever hiatus he's taking, because as a human being, I want you to do better. Like, I want you to do better, right? But
we still gonna
as a person, fuck you, because you talked so much and did nothing. So as a human being, I want you to get back to where you are as an artist, like, because that's what you love to do, and again, like, this is personal opinion, because I didn't even choose to go out of my way to make music about this nigga. He's not worth it, bro. He's not worth it. Like, to me, like, he's not worth it. Once you cross that line, man, it's not worth it, bro. Like, people get shot over that shit. People get killed over that shit.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not cool. It's not cool,
Yeah. B, don't shoot me. I'm saying, what did you learn, like, the questions what you learned from Reese, and also made you write that track sometimes? What have you learned from him? We've seen a lot of him. Does he say why he doesn't want to do an interview with us? Just
oh man,
he's a phenomenal. He's just done a phenomenal thing with just being isolated and just created this mass interest. He's a phenomenon.
It's crazy because, like,
I was hoping he doesn't do that to you, because you're strong with your views and you're very articulate, and like I always said the first time I met you, I think that you are strong. Was it an orator? Literally, you can lead with your voice. Do you know what I mean?
I appreciate that.
You know what I mean? So when I saw that you guys were close, I was like, I mean, I know it works for Reese, but your power is not in being quiet.
Yeah.
Your power is being heard.
Yeah. Facts.
And I'm saying being heard off the mic also, because I think you got more to give than just like what people are listening to.
Oh, for sure.
If someone sits with you and listens to your thinking, I think you got more. So, when I saw the 12, I was like, I hope that like doesn't also think that that's gonna work for him, like it's work, because it's worked for him and it's not gonna work for a lot of other people. A lot of people think that they can do Reese, they can't do what he's doing.
Yeah.
No, it can't work for a lot of. He's just one in a few.
I feel like, man, like with Reese, man, he's he's one in a generation type artist, because like imagine having so little presence as yourself online, but the whole world is making noise about you.
It's incredible.
Like, it's insane. Like, you know who I'd compare him to in terms of, you know, a fan base that's like really ride or die? I'm not sure if you've heard of him. NBA Youngboy.
Yeah, NBA. Well, I think NBA YoungBoy is more mainstream. There's someone else actually.
No, it's crazy because that dude is blackballed, bro.
Yeah, but
In the industry, like he's signed to a major, but everyone blackballed him. But the thing is, like, it's crazy because like NBA Youngboy would have so little presence on social media, but literally every comment section you'll see Youngboy better, Youngboy better,
no,
Youngboy better.
There's another guy, man. There's another guy who basically is why can't I get my mind into it? He also just drops once in a while. He's got a heavy cult following. Jeez, why can't I remember him now?
It's escaping me.
But he got a mad flow.
Playboy Cardi.
He's in the schemes about Playboy Cardi there, but
Playboy Cardi's fan base also goes crazy.
yeah, but he still does this guy that hardly does anything, but when he drops, he goes crazy. You know,
You'll get it from me. You'll get it from me.
I'll get it.
You'll get it.
I'll get it.
But back
what
to your
what have you
question.
learned while you look?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it.
Man, with Reese, man, like you said, like him moving low key, like I literally said it to him the other day, and I said, bro, fuck the industry, because like the industry is all about playing a game, and some people aren't there to play games, you know? Like, it's a whole ladder thing. Like, you gotta kiss one butt to surpass the other butt, you know? And like him protecting his energy and having people around him that really keep him grounded, like that right there's the biggest lesson. Like, and also, man, like just really keeping your craft on 1,000, bro. Like, be the best at what you do or don't do it at all, you know? That's something that I learned from him. And the one thing that like that always stuck with me was like his ability to not stick to one discipline. Like him, like, you know, being as brave as he is to, you know, to do something else without giving a fuck what anyone says about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And he's doing it for the love.
Do something else in what way?
Like, in terms of, like, you know, everybody will be like, I see that. I see that. You scrolling.
Yeah.
Nah, like, his ability to like, you know, to rap as hard as he wants, and then, you know, switch to the singing shit without having to feel like he needs to, you know, to cater to the whole fan base, because the fan base appreciates him regardless of anything. Like, knowing that there's gonna be people that appreciate your craft one way or another. Like, don't focus on what people want. Do what you feel is right, and the right people will gravitate towards it. And he has such a loyal fan base. Like, it's insane, bro. Like, anything that man dropped, like, that man could just blow on the mic, it's gone platinum, you know?
It's crazy.
Yeah, man.
Alright, bro. You know, I'm struggling to find this cat. Anyway, I'ma text you. And I'll write it on the comments down there. Bro, I appreciate you coming through.
Thank you for having me.
You know what I mean? Good luck with Aries once again. And by the way, just good luck with being independent. So who you label right now? Who you?
Oh no, I'm signed to me. Biggie signed. Biggie came for the dough, not indicios. You feel me?
Let's go.
Like there's a label that I got. It's called Devo Entity.
Okay.
You know, Devo is short for devoted, man. And like I've like again, it's the name of my first project as well. And I always had this idea. I'm not sure if I'm ever gonna execute it one day. Like devoted LP, you know, like a full length project called Devoted.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, I was very dedicated to what I was doing at the time, and everyone took it as a joke, you know, like, and it was so crazy for me because like I never listened to what anyone said, but everything else that came from the physical attributes, like, oh, you have big ears, or oh, you have big feet, or you have a small body, all of that shit, all the insecurities, right? I listened to them, but when it came to my music, like, bro, like, you know that thing that kids do, you know, like it was that thing, like, and for me, it just Devo, it felt right to really bring it to life because I'd always wanted to bring it to life at some point. And I didn't know what I was gonna call it, so I just said entity, and I said, okay, you know what, nah, because it's unknown, it's perfect. It's an entity,
Yeah.
you know, it's just a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got merch coming through as well. Literally dropping it this week. I'm not sure when this thing comes out, but by the time it comes out, the merch should be out. And I've got a shitload of music videos on the way. I just dropped my first independent video a month ago with, you know, Lackey and Youngster for a song called Heavy's the Crown on the project. And yeah, man, like I'm doing a lot of things. Shout out to Rich Boy Nation for, you know, for also believing in your boy, and Insanity for their material as well. Like, man, it's a crazy time to be alive. It's a crazy time to be Hash, bro. Like, shit, like I'm on my feet now. You feel me? Like, we back this shit, man.
You know what? It's pretty because everything that you got when you started, when it was all rushing, you never knew where it's coming from. Now you're going to see where it's coming from, and it's going to come at your pace. So don't say it's slower, say it's at my pace. Please don't make that mistake.
No, like you know,
your pace.
you know the worst part about being silent about where you've been and what you're doing for so long, bro, is that like people judge your journey with another person's journey, another person who's doing well, nah? And there's nothing that you could do about it at that point besides say it's God's timing, not mine, you know? But it's a beautiful thing to know that like when your successes come, even though they're as small and as fleeting as they are, they're very big moments for you, and they differentiate like your journey from someone else's immediately, you know?
Everything is about receiving it in 2 feet and 2 hands.
Yes.
You never want to receive things out of balance, unaware, unconsciously. And so you just be grateful that whatever you receive it in the balance of 2 feet and 2
sometimes you don't even know what you got, bro, and you never appreciate what you got.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
The Hash. The Big Hash.
Man, thank you.
You big now.
Hey, listen now, we going all crazy 2022, bro.
Yo,
nah.
I'm excited, bro.
Bro.
We look forward to it, man, and we're going to do the damn thing.
Can I holler at the camera before I say what's up? Yo, listen, man. Slikour had me in his actual backyard. This shit crazy, bro. Like, yo, like, I ain't never been to this man's backyard, but I can guarantee you it's much better than the rooftop where every 5 seconds. Nah, thank you for having me, dude. Like, this place is sick. You even got like the whole water vibe going on. Like, I thought that you were getting me like in a glass, but he got the whole hey, he got the, you feel me?
We lucky today.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. It's because of me. I'm in the building today. Nah, but
yo,
shout
Ash,
out.
I definitely love your energy. I definitely love your energy, and you're going to experience a lot of ups and downs, not because of your personality. And you so lucky. How old are you?
I'm only 21, bro.
You knew at 21. I knew I had to figure it out at 30 plus that like
Bro.
that I don't have that I'm not a guy who's able to be social. I noticed that in my 30s that I'm not a social guy. You know what I mean?
Cause life can do you different, dog. When it gives you a certain environment to be in, like it's adapt or die.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and when you adapt, you don't even notice things about you because you're acclimating yourself to a certain environment.
I came in with a bunch of guys in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, I was
Yeah.
never on my own. And whenever I was without, even when I became solo, it was difficult for me to do solo because I was always feeling like I need to be with a bunch of guys. So for me, it was hard for me to ever pick up that I'm not social. I never knew why I always ended up doing things on my own. It's because I had my own drive and whatever.
It was an instinct.
But I always felt like we all need to move forward. We all need to think the same way. And that's when you clash with some people because they don't also feel that.
It's okay for you to carry everything on your back and knowing that you're the person carrying it and you can do it better than someone else.
And not even better, but it's just no one can do me better than me.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And part of me is knowing that I'm antisocial. It's understanding I'm antisocial, and it's understanding that I'm going to have to make my life through being antisocial. While someone else, while the person who's on social media, an influencer, a blue tick, they literally make a living out of being social. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with both of it. It's just that we got to understand that we're different people. And I can't be knocking the person who's always posting some shit on social because that's who they are. You know, so we got to tolerate those both worlds because that's what makes us. But it's those that learn quickly who they are that are able to literally apply that strength and give what they need to give to the world. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So you know it at 21. I'm saying, I'm being real with you. I figured it out in my 30s.
Like when everything was like sort of like getting to a point where now you...
When my son was born.
Oh.
You know, because my life was so mad. I had so many things happening around me, so many things, people, I was no time for me to stop and go, okay. But I was doing a lot of solo things, and my own things also were, they were never bigger than Squatter Camp, because Squatter Camp was to change the trajectory for a whole thing. But me, I was just a part of it, but my things were always working even on my own. But I never knew that I just needed to believe in me, and I needed to trust me.
Yeah, trust the process.
I believe in you, bro. You're gonna be alright.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nah, like truly.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
The hash. This is the last.
The third one and the last one. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah.
Peace, man.
Broadcast live